You are on crazy HOA life. The HOA turned a package into a prosecution. I am done warning you. Paige Holloway held up a keyring and screamed that I took keys and that was grounds for trespass. She stood between me and the community pool gate, blocking the keypad with her body, the whistle on her lanyard swinging as she jabbed a finger toward my chest. Her other hand gripped a clipboard thick with papers, none of them showing readable text, but all of them supposedly proving I was a thief. I teach middle school English in Fresno, California. I live in Canyon Trails Community Association, a high-density townhome complex where parking is a constant war and the HOA board treats every interaction like a federal investigation. Paige Holloway is the board president. She loves her title. She loves her authority, and right now, she was using both to accuse me of stealing HOA property. This started 3 days ago when Paige sent an email blast claiming that storage inventory was missing and I had access. She did not say what was missing or when. She just said my name and the word access, and suddenly half the complex was whispering about me in the mailroom. I teach kids how to cite sources and construct arguments. I know a bad faith accusation when I see one. But here is the thing. Paige Holloway is not just cruel. She is a kleptomaniac. And she is very, very good at framing other people for her own crimes. The keyring in her hand had 6 keys. I knew that because I counted them yesterday when she waved it in my face during the first ambush. She claimed I took 3 keys from the storage closet. She claimed she had proof. She claimed she was neutral while actively recruiting people against me. That was her core lie. She told everyone she was just investigating, just being fair, just following policy. But every word out of her mouth was designed to destroy my credibility before I could defend myself. She blew the whistle. Twice. Right in my face. "Do you want fines or compliance?" she said. That was her catchphrase. She said it at every board meeting, every parking confrontation, every complaint. It was her way of pretending she was offering a choice, when really she was threatening you. "I want to see the storage log," I said. "If inventory is missing, there should be a log. Show me the log and show me when I accessed it." "Your timeline is irrelevant," Paige said. She smiled when she said it. She loved that line. It shut down every request for evidence, every attempt to build a defense. "Your timeline is irrelevant because I say so, and I am the president, and the board trusts me." I had a manila folder bulging with papers, no readable text on any of them, but they were documents. Portal screenshots. Email threads. Photos. I had been gathering proof since the first accusation because I knew how this would go. Paige does not argue in good faith. She moves goalposts. She deletes records. She weaponizes deadlines. And she always tries to catch you without evidence so she can bury you under her version of the truth. She stepped closer. The whistle swung. She pointed at a security camera mounted on the pool shed. "That camera proves you were here after hours," she said. "I already pulled the footage. You think you can just sneak around and take what you want. Not in my community." I stayed calm. I did not raise my voice. I did not move. I just looked at the camera, then back at Paige, and said, "Then show me the footage." She blinked. Her smile flickered. She did not have footage. She never did. The pool camera has been broken for 2 months. Everyone knows that. But Paige uses props. She uses the idea of evidence to intimidate people who do not know better. "I will show it to the board," she said, "and they will vote to fine you $100 per day until you return what you took. The deadline is tonight at midnight. After that, the fines start tomorrow. Do you understand?" That was the time pressure. The HOA gave me a cure deadline that expires tonight and threatens daily fines starting tomorrow. I had 9 hours to prove I did not steal something I never touched, or I would start bleeding money every single day. My job was already suffering. The constant HOA chaos kept interrupting my work and sleep. I was grading essays at midnight because Paige kept ambushing me in the parking lot during the day. I could not afford fines. I could not afford to lose focus. And Paige knew that. I opened my folder and pulled out a printed portal audit log sheet. It was blank looking, no readable text, but it had timestamps. It had metadata, and it showed every single time someone accessed a storage closet in the past 30 days. I had requested it from the management company that morning, and they sent it within an hour because it is public record and they have to provide it. This log shows I have not accessed storage in 42 days, I said. So whatever is missing, I did not take it. And if you are claiming I had access, you need to show me when. Paige grabbed for the paper. I pulled it back. She lunged. I stepped sideways. She stumbled and caught herself on the pool gate, and the whistle swung hard enough to smack her in the chin. A neighbor walking past stopped and stared. Paige straightened up, smoothed her trench coat, and forced a smile. "I am not discussing this in public," she said. "You will submit your defense in writing to the board by tonight or the fines begin. Do you understand?" She turned and walked away, the rolling cart with binders labeled by color only trailing behind her on squeaky wheels. That cart was her signature prop. She brought it everywhere: board meetings, parking lot confrontations, mailroom standoffs. The binders were labeled red, blue, green, yellow. No readable text, just colors. She claimed they were organized by violation type, but I had seen her pull random papers from random binders with no system at all. The cart was theater. It made her look prepared. It made her look official. But it was just a prop. I stood there holding my folder, my heart pounding, my hands shaking. The neighbor who stopped was an older woman named Rita. She lived 2 buildings over. She had a better camera angle on the mailbox area than anyone else in the complex, and she was tired of Paige. "She tried to take my trash can last month," Rita said quietly. "Claimed it was HOA property. I had to show her the receipt to get it back." I nodded. I did not know what to say. I was too angry to trust my voice. Rita touched my arm. "If you need a witness," she said. "I saw her moving boxes out of storage 2 weeks ago, late at night." I thought it was strange, but I did not say anything because I figured it was board business. That was the first crack. That was the moment I knew I could win this. Because Paige Holloway was not just framing me. She was stealing, and she was sloppy, and people were starting to notice. I went home and opened my laptop. I had 9 hours to build a defense, and I was not going to waste a single minute. The first thing I did was pull my own doorbell camera footage. I have a camera on my porch that records 24/7. It saves to the cloud, it has timestamps, and it catches everyone who walks past my unit, including Paige. I scrolled back 2 weeks. There. Paige Holloway, walking past my porch at 11:47 p.m., pulling the rolling cart. The cart was full, boxes stacked high. No readable text on the boxes, but they were standard HOA supply boxes. The same kind we use for pool equipment and clubhouse supplies. She was not carrying them to storage. She was carrying them away from storage. I clipped the footage. I saved it. I added it to my folder. That was clue number 1. The second clue came from the management company. I called them and asked for the full storage access log, not just the summary I had printed. The clerk, a woman named Vanessa, sounded exhausted when she answered. "We already sent you the log," she said. "I know," I said, "but I need the full version, with names and badge numbers." I am being accused of theft and I need to see everyone who accessed storage in the past 30 days. There was a long pause. Then Vanessa said, "Hold on." She came back 2 minutes later. "The log shows 63 access events in the past 30 days, she said. Your badge was used 0 times. But there is one badge that was used 41 times. That is not normal." "Whose badge?" I said. She hesitated. Then she said, "I cannot tell you that over the phone. But if you come to the office, I can show you the report." I was in my car 5 minutes later. The management office was in a strip mall 3 miles from the complex. It was a small office with fake wood paneling and a waiting area that smelled like coffee and old carpet. Vanessa met me at the counter. She looked nervous. She kept glancing at the door like she expected someone to walk in. She slid a printed report across the counter. No readable text, but it had columns. Dates. Times. Badge numbers. And one badge number appeared over and over and over. 41 times in 30 days, almost every night. Late hours. After 10 p.m. "Whose badge is that?" I said. Vanessa tapped the column. "Paige Holloway." "Board President." I stared at the report. My hands went cold. "She has been accessing storage almost every night for a month," Vanessa said quietly. "And 3 days ago, she filed a complaint claiming inventory was missing. She filed it under your name. She said you were the last person with access. But the log shows you have not accessed storage since March." That was clue number 2, and it was devastating. Because it proved Paige lied. She did not just lie to me, she lied to the management company. She filed a false complaint, and she used my name to cover her tracks. "Can I get a copy of this?" I said. Vanessa nodded. She made 3 copies. She slid them across the counter without a word. I drove back to the complex. I had 6 hours until the deadline. I had footage. I had logs. I had a witness. But I needed one more piece. I needed proof of what Paige actually took. I went to Rita's unit and knocked. She answered with a cup of tea in her hand and a concerned look on her face. "I need your help," I said. "You said you saw Paige moving boxes. Did you take any photos?" Rita smiled. She set down her tea. She pulled out her phone. "I take photos of everything," she said. "My kids think I am paranoid, but I like having records." She showed me her camera roll. There. A photo taken 2 weeks ago at 11:52 p.m. Paige Holloway standing next to the storage shed, the rolling cart beside her, boxes stacked on the cart. The photo was dark and grainy, but you could see Paige's face. You could see the cart. You could see the boxes. And you could see the shed door standing open behind her. "Can you send me that?" I said. Rita sent it. I saved it. That was clue number 3. I had everything I needed: footage, logs, photos, a witness. But I still did not have the endgame. I needed to confront Paige in a way that made her confess, or at least made her lie so badly that everyone would see through it, and I needed to do it in public. Because Paige Holloway does not care about private confrontations. She only cares about her image. She only cares about authority. And the only way to break her was to humiliate her in front of people who mattered. I spent the next 2 hours planning. I printed everything. I organized it into a tabbed evidence binder with blank-looking pages. No readable text, but it was clear this was documentation. I put the binder in my folder. I put the folder in my car. And then I waited. At 8 p.m., I got a text from an unknown number. "Board meeting tonight at the clubhouse. 9 p.m., attendance mandatory." I knew it was a trap. Paige was trying to ambush me in front of the board. She wanted to present her case first, control the narrative, and force me to defend myself in a room full of people who already believed her. That was her playbook. She did it to every resident she targeted. But I was not going to play her game. I was going to flip it. I showed up at the clubhouse at 8:50 p.m. The board was already there. 5 people sitting at a folding table. Paige in the middle, wearing her black trench coat and her gray bucket hat even though we were indoors. The rolling cart was beside her, binders stacked and ready. She smiled when she saw me. "Thank you for coming," she said. "We are here to discuss the missing inventory and your refusal to cooperate with the investigation." I sat down across from her. I put my folder on the table. I did not open it. I just looked at her. "I have cooperated," I said. "I requested the access log. I reviewed my own footage. I gathered witness statements. And I am ready to present my findings." Paige's smile tightened. She glanced at the other board members. They looked uncomfortable. One of them, a man named Doug, cleared his throat. "We appreciate your diligence," Doug said, "but the board has already reviewed the evidence, and we believe there is sufficient cause to proceed with fines unless you can provide proof of compliance." "What evidence?" I said. Paige opened one of her binders. She pulled out a stack of papers. No readable text, just blank-looking forms with handwritten notes in the margins. She slid them across the table. "These are inventory reports," she said. "They show that 3 items are missing from storage: a pool skimmer, a box of light bulbs, and a bag of cleaning supplies. The total value is approximately $200. You were the last person with access. You have 45 minutes to return the items or the fines begin." I looked at the forms. They were identical templates, same handwriting, same vague descriptions, and they were all dated 3 days ago. The same day Paige sent the email blast. The same day she filed the complaint. I pulled out my tabbed evidence binder. I opened it to the first tab. I slid a copy of the access log across the table. "This is the full access log from the management company," I said. "It shows every person who accessed storage in the past 30 days. My badge was used 0 times. But one badge was used 41 times, almost every night, late hours, after 10 p.m. I pointed to the column. Paige Holloway, board president. Doug leaned forward. He squinted at the log. His expression changed. "Paige," he said slowly, "is this accurate?" Paige's smile vanished. She snatched the log off the table. She stared at it. Her face went pale, then red. "This is a mistake," she said. "The system must be logging incorrectly. I access storage for board business. That is my job." 41 times in 30 days, I said. "Almost every night. What board business requires that much access?" Paige opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. "I was conducting inventory audits," she said. "I was checking supplies. I was making sure everything was secure." "Then why did you file a complaint claiming I was the last person with access?" I said. "The log shows I have not accessed storage since March." Paige slammed the log down. She stood up. The whistle swung. "You are twisting this," she said. "You are trying to make me look bad because you got caught. This is harassment." I stayed calm. I pulled out the second piece of evidence, the doorbell camera footage. I slid a printed screenshot across the table. No readable text, just a grainy image showing Paige pulling the cart full of boxes past my porch at 11:47 p.m. "This is footage from my doorbell camera," I said. 2 weeks ago, you are pulling the cart full of boxes away from storage. Late at night. What were you moving?" Paige stared at the image. Her hands started shaking. "That is none of your business," she said. "I was moving board property. I was organizing supplies. I was doing my job." If you are enjoying this story, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life HOA drama and lawful revenge. Doug stood up. He looked at Paige. He looked at me. He looked at the log. "Paige," he said quietly, "I think we need to table this meeting. I think we need to involve the management company. I think we need to audit the storage inventory properly before we proceed with any fines." Paige grabbed the log. She grabbed the screenshot. She stuffed them into her binder. She grabbed the rolling cart and dragged it toward the door. "This meeting is not over," she said. "I will be filing a formal complaint against you for harassment. Do you understand?" She slammed the door on her way out. Doug sat back down. He looked exhausted. "I am sorry," he said. "I did not know. I should have asked more questions." I nodded. I gathered my folder. I walked out. But I was not done. Because Paige Holloway was not going to stop. She was going to escalate. She always escalated, and I needed to be ready. The next morning, I got an email from the management company. It said that Paige had filed a formal complaint claiming I was harassing her and attempting to access restricted areas. She was demanding that I be banned from the lobby and the clubhouse. She was demanding that my access badge be deactivated. She was demanding a restraining order. That was escalation step 1. Paige tells management I am harassing her and tries to get me banned from the lobby. I forwarded the email to Vanessa. I attached the access log. I attached the doorbell footage. I attached Rita's photo. And I wrote a short message. "Paige Holloway is lying. I have proof. Please review the attached evidence and let me know if you need anything else." Vanessa replied 30 minutes later. "We are reviewing your complaint. We are also reviewing Paige's complaint. We will reach out when we have more information." That was it. No timeline, no commitment, just vague bureaucracy. And I knew what that meant. The management company was not going to help me. They were going to sit on it. They were going to let Paige and I fight it out. And if I pushed too hard, they would label me as the problem and wash their hands of the whole thing. I called Vanessa. She did not answer. I left a voicemail. She did not call back. 2 days later, I went to the management office in person. Vanessa was at the counter. She looked uncomfortable when she saw me. "I need an update," I said. "Paige is still threatening fines. She is still claiming I am harassing her. And I have not heard anything from your office." Vanessa sighed. She pulled up something on her computer. She frowned. "The file was marked as resolved," she said. "What?" I said. "Paige marked it as resolved," Vanessa said. "She submitted a note saying you returned the missing items and the issue was closed. So the system will not let me reopen it. I cannot escalate it. I cannot investigate it. It is closed." That was escalation step 2. Management refuses to help because Karen labeled the file as resolved. I stared at her. My hands clenched around the folder. "She lied," I said. "I did not return anything. I did not take anything. She is lying to close the file so you cannot investigate her." Vanessa nodded slowly. "I know," she said, "but the system does not care. Once it is marked resolved, it is resolved. You would need to file a new complaint, and if you do that, Paige will just mark it resolved again. And eventually, you will get flagged as a problem resident for filing repeat complaints." I felt the walls closing in. This was the system. This was how Paige won. She controlled the narrative. She controlled the records. She controlled the process. And anyone who tried to fight back got buried under vague policies and bureaucratic dead ends. "What if I go to the board?" I said. Vanessa shook her head. "The board trusts Paige," she said. "They always trust Paige. She has been president for 6 years. She has never been wrong. And if you go to the board and accuse her of theft, she will turn it around. She will say you are harassing her. She will say you are filing frivolous complaints. And they will believe her. So what do? I said. Vanessa leaned closer. She lowered her voice. You need to catch her in public, she said. You need to make her lie in front of witnesses. You need to make it so obvious that even the board cannot ignore it. And you need to document everything. I left the office with a plan. I was going to force Paige into a public confrontation. I was going to make her lie. And I was going to record every second of it. The opportunity came 2 days later. I was at the mailbox cluster picking up a package. A small bubble mailer. A gift card envelope inside. No readable text on the envelope, just a plain white square. It was a gift card for a coffee shop that my sister sent me for my birthday. The tracking said it was delivered that morning, but when I opened my mailbox, the package was gone. I checked the tracking again. Delivered. Left in mailbox. 10:23 a.m. I pulled out my phone and opened the doorbell camera app. I scrolled back to 10:23 a.m. There. The mail carrier walking up to my porch, sliding the mailer into the mailbox, walking away. And then, 5 minutes later, Paige Holloway walking up to the mailbox cluster, opening my mailbox with a key, pulling out the mailer, and walking away. She stole my mail. She stole my package. And she did it on camera. I saved the footage. I took screenshots. I clipped the video. And then, I went to find Paige. She was at the community pool gate. Again. She was setting down a bright orange cone in front of the keypad, like she owned the space. The rolling cart was beside her, binders stacked. She saw me coming and smiled. Do you want fines or compliance? She said. I want my package, I said. Her smile flickered. I do not know what you are talking about, she said. I pulled out my phone. I opened the video. I held it up so she could see. Her face on the screen. Her hand reaching into my mailbox. Her pulling out the mailer. You took my package, I said. This morning. At 10:28 a.m. I have it on camera. Paige stared at the screen. Her face went white. That is not me, she said. It is you, I said. Same trench coat. Same cart. Same whistle. You opened my mailbox with a key and you took my mail. That is a federal crime. Paige grabbed for my phone. I pulled it back. She lunged. I stepped sideways. She stumbled into the orange cone and knocked it over. A neighbor walking past stopped. Then another. Then another. A small crowd was forming. Paige straightened up. She smoothed her coat. She forced a smile. You are imagining things, she said. I was checking the mailboxes for violations. I was doing my job. I did not take your package. Then where is it? I said. Paige opened her mouth. Closed it. Opened it again. I do not know, she said. Maybe it was never delivered. Maybe the tracking is wrong. Maybe you are lying. The tracking says delivered, I said. The camera shows you taking it. And I have witnesses. I pointed at the crowd. 5 people now. All staring. All listening. Paige's face turned red. This is harassment, she said. You are stalking me. You are recording me without consent. I am calling the sheriff. She pulled out her phone. She dialed. She put it on speaker. A dispatcher answered. I need a deputy at Canyon Trails Community Association, Paige said. I am being harassed by a resident. He is accusing me of theft. He is recording me without permission. I feel unsafe. The dispatcher said a deputy would be there in 10 minutes. Paige hung up. She smiled at me. Now we will see who is lying, she said. I stayed calm. I stayed quiet. I did not argue. I just waited. The deputy arrived 12 minutes later, a young man with a buzz cut and a tired expression. He looked at Paige. He looked at me. He sighed. "What is going on?" he said. Paige launched into her story. She talked fast. She talked loud. She pointed at me. She pointed at the camera on the pool shed. She claimed I was harassing her. She claimed I was stalking her. She claimed I was filing false reports. She claimed I was trespassing. She claimed I was violating HOA rules. She claimed I was a danger to the community. And then she said, "I am the board president. I am neutral. I am just trying to keep the community safe. But he keeps attacking me." That was her lie. She claims she is neutral while actively recruiting people against me. The deputy turned to me. "What is your side?" he said. I pulled out my phone. I showed him the footage. The mail carrier delivering the package. Paige opening my mailbox. Paige taking the mailer. The deputy watched. His expression did not change. "Do you have a key to his mailbox?" the deputy said. Paige hesitated. "I have a master key," she said. "For emergencies." "This was not an emergency," I said. "This was theft, and I want to file a report." The deputy looked at Paige. He looked at me. He looked at the crowd. "I can take a report," he said, "but I need to document both sides, so I need both of you to give statements." Paige gave her statement first. She said she was checking mailboxes for violations. She said she saw an envelope in my mailbox that looked suspicious. She said she removed it for safekeeping. She said she was going to return it to me later. She said I was overreacting. She said I was harassing her. I gave my statement second. I said Paige had no authority to open my mailbox. I said she had no reason to take my mail. I said she was lying about returning it. I said she had a pattern of theft and intimidation. I said I had proof. And I said I wanted to press charges. The deputy wrote everything down. He took photos of the mailbox. He took photos of my phone screen. He took photos of Paige's card. He took photos of the crowd. And then he said, "I am going to issue an incident number. You can follow up with the postal inspector if you want to pursue federal charges. But for now, I am documenting this as a civil dispute." Paige smiled. She thought she won. She thought the deputy was letting her off. But then, the deputy turned to her and said, "I need to see the package." Paige's smile vanished. "What?" she said. "You said you removed it for safekeeping," the deputy said. "So I need to see it. If you do not have it, then your statement is inconsistent. And that is a problem." Paige opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. "I already returned it," she said. "When?" the deputy said. "This morning," she said. He looked at me. "Did you receive it?" he said. "No," I said. The deputy looked back at Paige. "So where is it?" he said. Paige grabbed her card. She rifled through one of the binders. She pulled out a blank-looking form. She waved it at the deputy. "I documented the return," she said. "I left it in his mailbox. He must have missed it." "I checked my mailbox 20 minutes ago," I said. "It was empty." The deputy sighed. He took the form. He looked at it. He handed it back to Paige. "This does not prove anything," he said. "This is just a blank form with no details. If you want me to close this as a civil dispute, I need you to produce the package or provide proof of return. Otherwise, I have to document it as theft." Paige's face went red. She grabbed the form. She stuffed it back in the binder. She grabbed the card. And then, she said the thing that destroyed her. "He is lying," she said. I saw him with the package in his hands this morning. He took it himself, and now he is trying to frame me. He is a thief. He has been stealing from the HOA for months. I have proof." The deputy raised an eyebrow. "You have proof," he said. "Yes," Paige said. "I have audit logs. I have photos. I have witness statements. He is a thief, and I want him arrested." "Show me," the deputy said. Paige grabbed one of the binders. She pulled out the same access log I had already debunked. She slid it across to the deputy. He looked at it. He frowned. "This log shows he has not accessed storage in over a month," the deputy said. Paige grabbed it back. She stared at it. Her hands shook. "That is wrong," she said. "The system is broken. He must have hacked it." "Hacked it," the deputy said. "Yes," Paige said. "He is a teacher. He knows computers. He must have tampered with the records." The crowd started murmuring. Someone laughed. Someone else whispered. Paige spun around. "Stop it," she yelled. "Stop laughing. This is serious. He is a criminal." The deputy stepped between us. "I am going to need you to calm down," he said to Paige. "I am calm," she yelled. The deputy looked at me. "Do you want to press charges?" he said. "Yes," I said. The deputy nodded. He handed me a card with the incident number. "Follow up with the postal inspector," he said. "And if you have any more issues with her, call us immediately." He looked at Paige. "And you need to stop accessing his mailbox," he said. "If I get another call about this, I am going to escalate it. Do you understand?" Paige did not answer. She just stared at the ground, her face red, her hands shaking. The deputy left. The crowd dispersed. I stood there holding the incident card, my heart pounding, my hands steady. Paige looked at me. Her expression was pure rage. "You just made a huge mistake," she said. "No," I said. "You did. And everyone saw it." She grabbed her cart and dragged it toward the clubhouse. I watched her go. And then I went home and filed a formal complaint with the postal inspector, the management company, and the HOA board. I attached the footage. I attached the incident number. I attached the access logs. I attached Rita's photo. I attached everything. And then I waited. 3 days later, I got a call from Doug. "We need to talk," he said. "Can you come to the clubhouse tonight at 7? I went. The full board was there. Paige was not. "We reviewed your complaint," Doug said. "We also reviewed Paige's records. And we found some inconsistencies." He slid a folder across the table. Inside were copies of inventory reports, all identical templates, all signed by Paige, all dated within the past 6 months, and all claiming that various items were missing and that various residents were responsible. "She has been filing false reports for months," Doug said. "Maybe longer. We also contacted the management company. They confirmed that Paige accessed storage 41 times in 30 days. That is not normal. That is not board business. That is theft." "What happens now?" I said. Doug looked tired. "We are removing her from the board," he said. "Effective immediately. We are also reporting her to the management company and recommending that they pursue legal action. And we are issuing a formal apology to every resident she targeted." He paused. "That includes you," he said. "I am sorry. We should have asked more questions. We should have checked her records. We trusted her because she was president. And that was a mistake." I nodded. I did not know what to say. "Is there anything else you need?" Doug said. "Yes," I said. "I need the HOA to reimburse me for the package she stole. And I need a written statement confirming that I was falsely accused and that no fines will be issued. Doug nodded. Done, he said. He slid a check across the table, $50, the value of the gift card, and a signed letter on HOA letterhead confirming that I was cleared of all accusations. I took them both. I walked out. But I was not done. Because Paige Holloway still had the key to my mailbox, and I was not going to let her keep it. I went to the post office the next morning. I filed a formal complaint with the postal inspector. I provided the footage. I provided the incident number. I provided the deputy's contact information. And I requested that all master keys held by the HOA be audited and reissued. The postal inspector called me 3 days later. We are opening an investigation, she said, and we are requiring the HOA to surrender all master keys immediately. New keys will be issued only to authorized personnel with documented training and background checks. Paige lost her key. She lost her access. She lost her power. But the final humiliation came 2 weeks later. I was at the tow yard picking up a receipt for a parking dispute. The clerk behind the counter was an older man with gray hair and a bored expression. While I was waiting, Paige walked in. She did not see me at first. She walked up to the counter and slammed down a bright orange cone like she owned the space. I need the tow logs for Canyon Trails, she said. I am the board president, and I need to verify that all tows were authorized. The clerk looked at her. He looked at the cone. He raised an eyebrow. Do you have a signed authorization from the property manager? He said. I do not need authorization, Paige said. I am the board president. The clerk shook his head. You need written authorization from the property manager, he said. That is the rule. I cannot release tow logs without it. Paige grabbed her card. She pulled out a binder. She rifled through it. She pulled out a blank-looking form. This is my authorization, she said. The clerk looked at it. He handed it back. This is not signed by the property manager, he said. This is just a form. I need a signature. Paige's face turned red. I am the board president, she said. I authorize myself. That is not how it works, the clerk said. You need the property manager to sign the authorization. Those are the rules. Paige grabbed the form. She grabbed her binder. She turned to leave. And that is when she saw me. Her face went white, then red, then white again. You, she said. Me, I said. She tried to grab my evidence binder off the counter. I pulled it back. She lunged. I stepped sideways. The clerk stepped out from behind the counter. Stop, he said, or I am calling the police. Paige froze. She stared at the clerk. She stared at me. And then she did the thing I will never forget. She tried to seize my binder and someone pulled out a phone and photographed her instantly. The flash went off. Paige screamed. She covered her face. She grabbed her cart and ran out of the tow yard, the whistle swinging, the binders falling off the cart and scattering across the floor. The clerk looked at me. He looked at the binders on the floor. He looked at the door. What just happened? He said. Justice, I said. I left the tow yard and went straight to the management company. I showed them the photo. I showed them the footage from the mailbox. I showed them the access logs. I showed them the inventory reports. I showed them everything. And I filed a complaint to the management company that triggers discipline. Vanessa called me 2 days later. Paige has been banned from all HOA facilities, she said. The board voted to pursue legal action for theft and fraud. The management company is terminating her access to all systems. And the HOA's insurance company warned them about harassment exposure, and they are panicking. What about the other residents she targeted? I said. We are reaching out to everyone, Vanessa said. We are reviewing every complaint she filed. We are issuing refunds for any fines that were based on false reports. And we are implementing new oversight procedures to prevent this from happening again. I hung up. I sat down. I let out a long breath. It was over. Paige Holloway was done. Her authority was gone. Her lies were exposed. Her theft was documented. And she would never intimidate another resident again. But the story did not end there. Because 2 weeks later, I got a call from Rita. You need to hear this, she said. She told me that Paige had tried to intimidate a neighbor the day before. She knocked on their door. She demanded to inspect their patio. She threatened fines. She waved a clipboard. But the neighbor did not let her in. The neighbor called the management company. The management company called the sheriff. And Paige's attempt to intimidate a neighbor backfired, and the neighbor reported it. Rita laughed. She is done, Rita said. No one is scared of her anymore. Everyone knows what she did. And she has no power left. I smiled. Good, I said. A month later, the HOA held elections. Paige did not run. Doug was re-elected. A new treasurer was voted in. And the new board passed a motion requiring all board members to undergo background checks and ethics training. I still live at Canyon Trails. I still teach middle school. I still deal with HOA drama. But Paige Holloway is gone. And the complex is quieter now. Calmer. Safer. And every time I check my mailbox, I think about the footage. I think about the access logs. I think about the moment she tried to grab my binder and got photographed. I think about the look on her face when the deputy asked for the package and she had nothing. Karen demanded proof and then panicked when I handed out copies. That is the thing about people like Paige. They thrive in the dark. They thrive on intimidation and confusion and the assumption that no one will fight back. But the moment you shine a light on them, the moment you document everything, the moment you force them to lie in public, they crumble. And when they do, it is the most satisfying thing in the world. I appreciate you coming back.